So I'm here at the Go Osmo station, and basically the question becomes, why do I want to buy a new action camera when I obviously already own the GoPro 7? And the reason is because the GoPro 7, while it is quite amazing for a lot of things, at the end of the day, it ends up having that situation where there's newer cameras out there, they're better, there's 10-bit versus like 8-bit and 420 8-bit and all that stuff, so it makes a lot more sense to get a new camera every couple of years. Plus, this camera still has a good value for somebody who might want to use it for more action, where they don't necessarily need a screen on the front so they can see if they're even in frame, and also they don't necessarily need all the advanced stabilization features, etc., because that necessarily doesn't go with what they're trying to do. Now we're here at the Go trains. This train station also has via rail, which we can see right now leaving. And if you are here, you got to take a Presto card, tap it, and then you tap it at the other end in order to take the Go train. So that's relatively easy. There's 2 tracks here, 1 and 2. As you can see here, our train is at number 1, and we're going to head into Toronto and see where we can go. Yeah, we're totally taking the Go train to Ottawa. No, we're not. Okay, so we've walked a pretty decent distance down the train. There's nobody here. This train isn't leaving for probably about 15 minutes. So I have a little bit more time to talk about some of the options that I am looking at that I want to see in Toronto. So the first one is I want to see the new GoPro. It's about GoPro 11. It looks really cool, but I kind of want to see like what does it actually look like in the hands, and also do some footage and get sort of a feedback as to how much and how easy it is to use, particularly because you can only use the back screen for touch and control. Which brings me up to the second one, which is the, I forget the name, Osmo Action 3, because that actually has it where you can touch the screen in front to change controls as well as the back. So it makes it good for self-vlogging in addition to action camera. A third one I want to look at is from Insta360. I believe it's called the X3. Now, the nice thing about this is that it actually is a 360 camera, but I want to have a quick look and see how easy is it to use, and try to talk to somebody who's used one to say, how easy is it to convert it from sort of in-camera 360 to, on the internet where it's generally 1080p or 4K, and I'm not doing a whole bunch of 360 spinning and stuff, because I don't necessarily need a 360 camera, but I want to have a look and see what that is. Some other options include things like those little tiny gimbal action cameras and stuff like that, but I think for me, getting a camera that is relatively, all in one, it doesn't have pieces that need to be held onto, etc., is probably a good idea. I should also mention that it is kind of windy out here right now, so we'll see how this all goes. So I'm now on the Go train, and it's really quiet. There's no one else here. There's only like one person up there, and I wanted to show you this thing here. So I did do another video about it, but this is basically a power bank for the GoPro, and it's a power bank for the GoPro 7. I don't know if it'll work on the 8, 9, etc., and this is what I've been using to get longer record time, because without it, the GoPro record time is kind of not great. And when I'm doing vlogging or when I'm traveling, when I'm vlogging or traveling, I don't want to have to carry too many other batteries with me, but also I didn't want to have to worry about, switching out batteries all the time and doing all that stuff. So that is definitely one consideration I have with an action camera. I am going to lean towards an action camera that has a longer battery life, doesn't have as many overheating problems, etc. So that's why I think for me, the GoPro 11 will be interesting to see, because I do want to check the side-by-side quality of the image, but at the same time, I want to sit there and say, this is really good image, but if I'm swapping out the batteries every 30, 40 minutes, how good is that if I want to take it out for a vlog, on an action trip, on an overnight adventure, without having to charge all the batteries all the time? Because I don't want to carry more than like 1 or 2 spare batteries. So just something interesting to kit that I am using this on the GoPro 7, which does allow me to actually record this whole trip. Future Graham here. So I do want to apologize, but you'll see very quickly one of the big reasons I want to upgrade from the GoPro 7 is the audio. I was able to clean it up to a certain degree, but depending on where I was holding it and the surrounding noise, it does disintegrate pretty quickly. There were a couple shots I wasn't able to use because of that. The other aspect too of this is that
I'm holding the camera out at arm's length in order to get myself in the image, but it's going to hear all the surrounding noise because Toronto is not exactly a quiet place. In addition, as I'm looking at the DJI wireless pack, having that would mean that I can have a bit more control over my audio, so even if I'm in a noisy surrounding, I can actually have good audio that you can hear and you're not going to be cringing. But this all does come at a certain cost, and that's why I wanted to do this vlog, was to say, hey, here's what the GoPro 7 does, visually actually quite good, and if you're not having to rely on the audio, so you're doing like time lapses, you're doing hyperlapse, you're doing action shots where you're going to put music over it, you happen to be in a quiet location, it is absolutely usable even in 2023. Where it falls apart though is when you start saying, I want to use it for vlogging, for travel, etc., where you don't necessarily have control of the surrounding audio, and the way the camera actually handles that seems to be cringy, like really cringy. Like it works, and I'm able to use like advanced editing tools to clean it up, but it's not something I would necessarily say, hey, I'm going to go and spend a couple $1,000s on a trip. I'm going to vlog this trip and then I'm going to, share it with my friends and they're absolutely going to enjoy it. This is, the $50 trip with the $50 sounding audio, unfortunately. So please bear with me. I've cut out all the scenes that were not really listenable. And yeah, let's get back to my search, my endless search for action cameras in downtown Toronto.
Okay, so I'm now down here in downtown Toronto as I'm going to head down Queen Street where there's some camera stores to check out some cool stuff. And while we're waiting for the light to change, one question I know people might ask is, why not just get a better smartphone? And the main reason is because I don't like draining battery power on smartphones to try to take video. Editing on smartphones uses up a lot of power, and also just simply put, that holding a smartphone out as you're trying to walk places, etc., looks a little weird. And yeah, if you accidentally drop a smartphone or something like that, it's not great. Whereas with these action cameras, you might break one, but it's not the end of the world. Whereas, your smartphone is like your life. Everything's on there. You don't want to break that if you can avoid it. Okay, so there's a lot of construction here, so hopefully the audio is not decent. But our first stop is going to be downtown camera. And the reason we're stopping here first is this is where I know there's a camera store. I know that they sell a lot of used gear, new gear, and they also deal with film photography as well. So it's a really good stop to go. There is a Henry's around the corner, but they closed and they moved to a new location, which I will find afterwards. So yeah, we're going to start here and see where we go. Okay, so downtown camera was pretty amazing. I really like going there because they have a lot of cool stuff, and they have an entire used department in the back. However, they actually didn't have a GoPro 11 or the latest Osmo Action 3. Apparently, those are hot items, so they actually sold out. And they said, best to do curbside pickup if I'm going to come down here again, or I can even order it online and they'll ship it to me. So good to know. I should have probably called in ahead. I'm now heading up towards where I believe Henry's is now moved, and we're going to check out to see what Henry's has. Maybe I'll get a little bit more luck there. And then after that, to explain to you sort of my thinking of the two, now that I've had a chance to look at them in person and check out some of the accessories. And here we have the new Henry's location. Brand new building, big giant ceiling. Yeah, I think that might be a bit of an upgrade from their last location. Definitely worth going to check it out as soon as the light changes. All right, so now that we're standing outside the main entrance to Henry's, I do want to talk about today's sponsor, Detours with Jeff. Yes, Jeff Eatley does a lot of cruise and different types of adventure detours. He's that truck sponsoring this video because he told me I need to vlog the next time I went to Toronto. So here, Jeff, is the vlog. Everyone else, please consider subscribing, hit a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Because if you like this stuff and this does well, I will make more vlogs. If you guys don't hit the thumbs up or you hit the thumbs down, I probably won't make as many, or maybe I will just to spite you. Who knows? Let's find out. Okay, so now that I have a chance to talk to some people in the stores, get some feedback, and also learn that if I want to get hot, brand new gear, I need to order it online or let them know ahead of time for curbside pickup, because apparently the cameras I want are all flying off the shelves. Whoops. But what I did get was that the X3, while Insta360s are really nice, they do take a bit of a hit in fidelity from the fact that they are 360, and that was not recommended. Big recommendation, however, was the GoPro. Unsurprising there. But one of the comments I did get from them is that they are quite a bit more expensive, which I kind of knew, and that if I am considering buying the Osmo wireless pack, the Osmo 3 is probably a better deal, because to use it, I just plug it in on the side, versus with the GoPro, I'd have to get like an extra cable or the media mod kit or a bunch of other stuff, which, you know, is great, but then you're not dealing with like one compact unit rather than a complicated thing that you have to take apart and switch batteries, etc. So with that in mind, I think the Osmo Action 3 is probably going to be the better deal for what I'm trying to do. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going to take about a week or two to make this decision, basically because I want to sell some other gear to fund this purchase. And if somebody could come up with a really good reason why not to buy it, let me know. But overall, I think, especially with the latest upgrades that have come out, firmware, I think it's actually a really good option to the GoPro 11, which is what I'm considering. And yes, I could theoretically get a 10 or a 9 or an 8, which are available in stores, but it's one of these things where, like the 7, you buy it top of the line once, and then you hold on to it for like 5-10 years. That can't necessarily be said if you're buying a later version of the camera, because it'll get out of date sooner. I don't remember where I am. Oh, I'm at Yonge and Dundas. Cool. This is Yonge and Dundas, and there's nothing happening. It's a big empty square. When stuff is happening, this place is completely crowded. Okay, so I'm walking along here and I noticed that there's a Best Buy. Now, action cameras are kind of a consumer item, so Best Buy may actually hold them. So I'm going to jump in there for 2 seconds and see if they actually have it, but probably won't post any footage because, you know, it's a Best Buy. We all know what Best Buy looks like on the inside. So oddly enough, Best Buy actually has quite a number of cameras, and they actually have the GoPro 11. They had about 4 of them. So yeah, if you need one today, probably check out the Best Buy in Toronto. I guess on Dundas Street. I guess I'm on Dundas Street. Yeah, on Dundas Street, because they have like 4 of those things. However, they do not have the Osmo Action 3 that I was looking at getting. But if I do find out that at the end of the month I decide to go with the GoPro 11 and the camera stores don't have one, I know I can probably pick one up at Best Buy. Okay, so there's the CN Tower over there. I think that's probably the closest I'm going to get, or the best view today, because I'm basically running around downtown. There are a lot of tall buildings. But that is the CN Tower to prove that, yes, I am in Toronto. So I found this, the Winston Churchill monument in Toronto. So I've actually lived in Toronto, and I didn't even know this was here. So I thought I would share it. Welcome to Raccoon City. Actually, no, for all you zombie lovers, this is actually Toronto, where they filmed a lot of things that they made look like Raccoon City. Also, if you're a big fan of the show where all the people are wearing that red clothing stuff, I think it's called The Handmaid's Tale? Handmaid's Tale. Pretty sure it's Handmaid's Tale. There's a whole scene that went down on that bridge over there, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, this is actually Toronto City Hall, and they have a rink right over here that we're going to go by. What's it have to do with action cameras? Absolutely nothing. But since I'm in the city, I might as well get you some cool sights, because, you know, it's what we have. So yeah, so we actually have here at City Hall a giant skating rink, which you can see over here. Ooh, giant skating rink. And occasionally I think the Toronto team might practice here or something like that. They have a little thing saying, you know, practice, and then they got the Toronto sign right there, which is a little hard to get to at the moment because they have all the fences and everything. But if you're here in the summer when they don't have the arena, you can actually stand in front of the sign and all that good stuff. And yeah, a lot of people are enjoying a chilly day skating. Although this right here is probably, no, we got more snow. There's more snow over there. So this is probably all the snow right now in Toronto. There's not a lot of brown. I had to look really hard for this stuff, right? So there you go. So now I'm heading back to Union Station to jump on the O train and yeah, head back home. But it's been a very fun day going out down to Toronto to do some shopping. I did pick up some supplies for the channel from Staples, aka what do we call it? Cue cards, so I can actually write down scripts instead of totally making it off the top of my head like I did in this video, because it worked so well. But now I have cue cards, and I can write the ideas down with cue cards and pull them out and be like, aha, here it is. But they're in my backpack, so. So I think this is the old City Hall, and then you got the new City Hall. And this is the bus. quality content as I check to quickly cross the street here on a. I got a walk sign. I'm good, but almost missed it. Before I sign off, I want to just remind you that this was Jeff Eatley from Detours with Jeff's idea. I did it because he asked me to, and now you owe me 20 bucks. Jeff Eatley owes me $20. Although, if you do want to hit the thanks button for this wonderful content, I will also appreciate that. But Jeff, specifically, you owe me $20 for making this vlog. And if I made a camera conspiracy take a run for this money, let me know that too. And there's Union Station and the CN Tower. So we actually got a decent shot of the CN Tower today. Okay, so now I remember why I'm filming a 1080p this vlog instead of 4K. It's because I tried 4K and the camera totally died and said the SD card can't write that fast. Right, I did not bring the right. And now we're back here at Oshawa Station after taking the train all the way from Toronto. So now I just got to find out or remember where I parked my car and drive home. Thanks for watching.